Lord Lieutenant, Mr. Mayor, Professor Langworth, thank you very much for those very kind words. May I, through you, Mr. Mayor, thank the people of Walsall for awarding me the freedom of the borough. Amongst us here today, there are many people, very well deserving, who need to be acknowledged too. In particular, we've got Mr. Aslam, who is here, and there are lots of others who unfortunately have not been able to make it. Without Aslam, this fantastic journey would not have been possible. He's been a rock to me, and he was the founder of Midland International Aid Trust, and without him, I don't think, Mr. Mayor, I would be here standing today. My gratitude to the Manor Hospital in Walsall, who have been behind me and supported me over these many years. Spires Hospital recently have been helping us with raising monies for the Mayor's charity, and hopefully we'll be able to do many more pounds, I hope, before we've finished. Last but not the least, if I could thank my family for being here today, and in particular my brothers and sisters who've come here, and especially my wife, who has suffered me for 37 years. And I hope that she continues to suffer me for a few more. Walsall never happened, or almost didn't happen, because I went up to a professor in pediatrics at the University of Manchester when I was a young doctor looking for a consultant post, and he said to me, "You will never become a consultant pediatrician because your color's wrong." This sort of thing perhaps wouldn't happen now, but it certainly happened then. I was to prove him wrong, obviously, but this was not easy. Val and I were traveling for my umpteenth interview for a consultant post, so it wasn't easy. This time it was to Walsall. We had exhausted Aylesbury, Bury, Coventry, all the alphabets you can think of, and we were now getting down to Walsall. The M6 was just being built, or there were just some roadworks there, I can't quite remember. We were stuck, and the time was ticking away, and I really, really needed this job. Remember, this was 1983, and there were no mobile phones then. So I pleaded with Val, and I said to her, "Can you get out of the car, find one of those yellow phones, you know, the big phones that the workmen used to have, and ring up the Queen Elizabeth and tell them that I'll be delayed for the interview." Needless to say, she was not having any of this. To be fair, by this time we were slowly moving on the motorway, and she rightly felt that running behind me on a motorway under construction was certainly not a good idea. It was at this point, while still in the car, that something stirred in me. And that's when my life changed. I said to myself that if you get me out of this mess, I shall do something for you. Well, we got through to Queen Elizabeth, got into the interview, and got the job. And here I am 30 years later. We've been in Walsall for that many years. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Our children were born here. This is our home. And we are very happy here. So, Mr. Mayor, accepting this award is really a pleasure. So what has life been for me all about? Very briefly, life in a sense is a total of some experiences as we get older. How these come about depend on the people you meet. Some best laid plans never come to fruition. But for me, It's moments in time that are important. And it's moments in time when you meet people who change your life. I salute other inspirational people around me. My sister's unfortunately not here. She's got polio. Well, she's had a lot of adversity through life, but brought up a fantastic family. There's my brother, younger brother here, who lost his eyesight. And he worked through as a GP and did extremely well. There's my mother-in-law, who is 90, who insisted that she comes here today. So there are these people who have adversities in life, but they do extremely well. But then we also have people who have exactly the opposite effect. I went to see, in fact, interestingly, coming back by train a couple of days ago, we met this chap. I went to this guy, 1986, I should think. He's a professor of pediatrics in Birmingham, and I said to him, I would like to do a PhD. And he said, PhD for a full-time consultant, not on, cannot be done. I was to prove him wrong again. And what this experience taught me was one thing, that you do come across people who tell you it cannot be done. But since then, I tell them, yes, it cannot be done by you. And that's the way forward, I think. Therefore, to achieve something in life, you need faith in yourself. And from my point of view, belief in the Almighty. Getting up in the morning, remembering first thing, as you put your feet to the ground, is the way to start the day. A day that has got so many unknowns, and yet a day where each one of us can do something good. So what has medicine taught me? Very briefly again, in order to alleviate suffering, not only do you have to help patients directly, but you have to change the behavior of people around you. And you've got to teach the medical students and your colleagues the systems whereby patients at the end of the day can be bettered in terms of integrating into society or getting better from their medical problems. It is not all about diagnosing and dishing out treatment. It is about holistic care between doctor and patient. So being a doctor is a powerful tool if used properly. So let's talk about doctor-patient relationship a little. Generally, doctors are good agents for change, that we know, because they can change disease into health. But what is fascinating is that we, as doctors, can change lives of thousands of people all in one go by, for example, getting involved with vaccination programs or involved with programs that deal with providing clean water. Patients, on the other hand, have got to realize that the human body is a complex design. You cannot have a plug-in system to make a diagnosis. It has got many potential faults. So diagnosis has got to be slow and often incomplete. So that's something that I think we as patients, because I'll be a patient one day as well, we have to realize that yes, it is a system which is not a total and complete science. How have I used my knowledge? Well, there are several factors associated with the way one reacts and interacts with society. But one thing I have learned, and that is that childhood poverty and access to sanitation and HIV are one of the biggest killers in the world. And one thing we can all do is to get to the bottom of this problem. And the way we do it is to educate the women in and around the world. If we are able to do that and provide them with vocational training, for example, by providing them with sewing machines, that's the way forward. Giving them confidence by having their faces changed, perhaps, from the point of view of giving them a good operation from a cleft lip and palate, or indeed operating on vaginal fistulas. A miserable face becomes a very happy face. And that mother can, if she's provided for by us in terms of provision of health service, she can then go on and hopefully get her children sorted out. And once the children are better, their education is better, they will be able to fit into society in a very integrated sort of way. So it is really, in a sense, such tragedies in lives of people wherein I think lies our triumph in bringing them hope. What is something else that I'm passionate about? This is the people that we send out, and unfortunately 3 or 4 people that were supposed to be here, not here, send out to other countries. Health professionals I'm talking about. These health professionals seek out medical problems. They work with the community. They are cognizant of the fact that they have to respect religion. They have to respect culture. They have to overcome some erroneous beliefs. For example, in Nigeria, people believe that polio vaccine causes infertility. Now, polio is something that people want to get rid of globally, and I'm very passionate about it because my sister has got it. So, in a sense, we have to make sure that all our health professionals are well trained when they go out. But having said that, when they do come back, they, I'm sure, will be able to share skills, knowledge, and experience. Not only for themselves, but they'll also be able to deal with diverse populations and the diversity of diseases that we actually come across. It can help with them with career paths. And I believe, because I've worked in a third world country, that when you come back, you do learn to use resources sparingly. So fewer the resource, better the diagnosis, I believe, and more money is saved for other NHS ventures. I hope that the team that I've built around me, in some way or the other, has started to shine a light in those corners in the world that misery lurks for millions and millions of children, mothers, and the children's parents. So I don't really want to go on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen, but finally, carving out a career in medicine in Walsall was and continues not only to be challenging, but also still exciting for me. It requires ability to make tough decisions, and it is hard work. You have to be resilient and have to make sacrifices. But the opportunity medicine offers makes it a glorious career and a privilege to be part of. I hope that I've gone a long way to fulfill the promise that I made on the motorway. Your life is God's gift to you. What you do for others is your gift to Him in return. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I accept this on behalf of all the children in the world. Thank you.